Good morning, folks. It's 9:02, Tuesday, April 5th, 9:02 a.m. There's my hero, Herky. Bada boom. This is about the other side. What is the other side? Some people have, when they talk about heaven, they're talking about the other side. When they talk about the second dimension, they're talking about the other side. There are three basic dimensions. I can tell you all about dimensions. It's not going to be right now, though. There's three basic dimensions. There's the first dimension. There's this, which is where all sentient energy or spirit just is made by happenstance. And then there's the second dimension, which is much large, really large, and that's what spirit lives in. That's what all of you live in when you're not in a body. I was going to say forced into a body. Lots of times you do it on your own accord, but it's almost always like that. Okay. However, you're forced in there, physically pushed and squeezed to get in there as much as you can. And that was the forcing part of what I was talking about. And then there's a third dimension, which is physical. Now, in different locations, there are more dimensions broken away in that one specific area. Okay, there are smaller areas, smaller dimensions, but there are multiple dimensions going down. Right here on the Earth, we live in a third dimension. And then also on this planet, there are 8 dimensions below us. So, and in some places, there's a total of 43. It all depends on what's going on. The older the planet, usually the more the dimensions. Not necessarily, but that's a general happenstance. It's just something that kind of happens. The older stuff is, more things happen, things develop, and they just change like that. Anyway, back to the other side. That's part of it, the dimensions. Get this thing out of my ear. People have always wondered, what's life all about? How does life happen? Why are we here? What controls our lives? Does anything control our lives? How much do the decisions we make have an effect on what happens to our lives in the future? What is the future? The original first being male and female built creation to overly pressure, work out, and abuse spirit when it was in a body, because then when it comes out, it's much bigger than if it wasn't abused. And that's how they were growing spirit, and they wanted to increase the applause machine for themselves. Okay, it's all about greed. First book, the first of the 2 books in the creation series. Creation is beginning, your origin. That explains it. Okay, tells you about it. It's a lot. That book's only 134 pages. The second book, which is all the fighting and everything else, this should have been 6 books. I didn't have the time to write them. I expect to be gone, out of this body by now. But the way things happen is I haven't been able to go. Here's the book 2. Okay, Creation. It's Journey Evolving into Paradise. This is the war that went on. There's never been an angel war, but there's been a war, right? Some of you close to me that are strong source spirit, and some that aren't, but mostly the strong source spirit. You've seen this stuff. You understand it. You had to deal with it yourself. I don't expect people to believe me, but I expect myself to leave this information for everyone. That's not the most. That wasn't the biggest reason for me to be here in this body one last time, my last life, but it was imperative that it happen. The other side had to be, what was running lives on the other side had to be taken out, destroyed, and it has been. There's, again, I hate to keep doing this. This book has got in it everything you need to understand about the other side. Creation, how it started. Table of contents. Birth of the first being, and then it lives, which is the first being becoming fully sentient. The creation, male and female. The first being start building the second dimension, the third dimension, releasing the new first beings. There was 2 new sets of male and female first being, first type being. A clean source is what it was. Angels from the original first being. Lydia and Aramelius, Lilith and Aramelius, Lydia and Armelius, Lilith and Aramelius. The initial fields of essence, spirit, Lily and Ara, the birth of unicorns and dragons, Fey essence, animal essence, universal essence, plant essence, human essence, negative original first being spirit, Gaira, energy of the first planet ever created. She's in all the Zestulite. Some people call it a Zestulite. A Zestulite's just, there's no such thing as a Zest being, sorry. Things are, I'll tell you what things are, because I know, I see them, I understand. Whatever you want to do with it, cool. Love you. You know, I'm just telling you what it is. I'm wearing overalls. Okay? That's what it is. The different fields of soul spirit, the release of the souls, when it happened and how it happened, 5 stages. Water. What's in water? We call water the nectar of life. Why? It's got special spirit in it, special little spirit beings. And then there's one little chapter about the quote-unquote dimensional dudes, the energons. That was part of the original first being created that separated before it finished evolving into itself. They have like almost 0% negativity. They're very different. Anyway, the other side is literally 1.5 feet to the right and 3 foot up from where you are. It's to the right and then forward just a little bit, but just do whatever's to your right, okay? How can you relate to that without having seen it or anything first? You've heard a lot of quote-unquote psychics. I don't like that word. Metaphysical practitioner is much better because everyone has metaphysical abilities. Psychic is a box that someone made a long time ago to put people in and say you're crazy. And then other people put themselves in the box and say, look, I have great powers. Okay, the thing is, everyone has metaphysical abilities. Even the people that say metaphysical abilities don't exist, they're using their gut intuition to, come up with whatever they spew out of their mouth, but they also use it to go through daily life. That's a metaphysical ability. Okay, a mother's intuition, soldier or policeman feeling someone pulling a bead on the back of their neck, watching them. It doesn't have to be a soldier. It could be a woman walking home late at night. There's so much going on. So everyone has these abilities. That's why I just use metaphysical practitioner, because you're practicing your metaphysical abilities, and they're part of you. They're not a gift from some magical god. There's no such thing. Okay, there was the original first being, male and female. They were very abusive. They built something in the very beginning to protect them, and it finally killed them because it was supposed to protect everything. And the original male and female went nuts. And then there's other stuff on the other side that was wanting to run things through the same abuse system, and they've been destroyed too. It's all been done to free up the issues on the other side. But back to the other side, as far as this location, you hear a lot of metaphysical practitioners, or quote unquote, the old psychics, that would talk about seeing a silver thread going from their body and coming out about 2.5 foot at an angle. And it just disappear. Folks, if you use the mathematical equation and go 1 foot to the right, 1.5 feet to the right, and 3 foot up, and you make a line going up there, it's about 2.5 feet. Ta-da! Yeah. So anyway, that's all it is. Folks, things are simple. They really are. But you have to be exposed to the simple truth. There's so much to say about every little thing I say. It's crazy. My books, my two books are slow. They're your books. I wrote them for you. They're a very slow read. Please don't try to just read it fast, because you'll read it fast, say the words, and everything, bada boom, bada bing. And I've had friends read it 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times, and they're still trying to get the main reading, the main information out of what they were reading. So anyway, so the second dimension where we live as spirit is 1.5 feet to the right, 3 foot up. Okay. Oh, by the way, that silver energy, that cord, that's part of source energy, the field, and it keeps you attached to the other side. You can't go to the wrong place. Plus, in the very beginning, the very first being, other than original first being male and female, the very first being that was ever created was the angel that people call here Lucifer. Okay, protector, angel of light. The original first being, eventually, as it started becoming sentient, it became lonely and it separated itself into 2 different parts. That was male and female. Not holographic individual parts like looking at itself, but something different for company. Okay, now I'm sorry, I'm being bothered. Y'all just chill out for a minute while I'm doing this. They're trying to work on me while I'm talking, and that's done. Anyway, just trying to help, but it's hard enough for me to remember stuff, see it, look at it, and then try and do it through the fog of when you're getting your head worked on. And when you are getting your brain worked on, folks, you're foggy. You can't see, normally. It's that's the way it is. And it's natural. It's nothing to worry about as you become awake and aware and you start seeing stuff, and then all of a sudden, you get cloudy. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Everything's fine. It's just you're being enhanced. You're being improved. You're being worked on. Excuse me. So the original first being, male and female, then put their energies together and took 1/3 of their energy and removed it. And then they took the negativity out. The original first being was 27.5% negative, and then that was due to the amount of heavy particulate matter that was in the first dimension floating around that got pulled into this energy electromechanical combination. 5 huge fields of energy. Okay, it's becoming sentient, pulled some of the stuff in. The amount of pulled in by happenstance just happens to be the amount of negativity. 27.5% negativity is a lot for source energy because it's got everything in it. It's just very powerful. Okay, so they took 1/3 of their energy out. They took 97% of the negativity out of it. They took almost all of it out, set it aside, so they'd have some really clean energy. Then they took a huge piece of this energy, pulled it out, and used it to protect, to keep an eye on this huge field of negative source energy. It's not like negative soul, it's negative source energy. This is powerful. So they built one angel huge to protect it, to protect everything else from it, to be a guard. Okay? That's Lucifer. Okay? And everyone's calling him the devil, Satan. Your religions are all full of crap. I'm sorry, they are. No, I'm not sorry, but they are. I feel bad about hitting you with a hammer. As far as hitting the philosophy with a hammer, it can hurt you when you listen to it. But most of you listening to me, you have an open mind because you want to know. Stuff's not right. It doesn't make sense. This all loving, perfect, all forgiving God that created hell to abuse you and torture you forever? Some guy named Adam did something wrong, and that was a really, really long time ago, and although you haven't done anything wrong, you're a sinner because of what he did. Who the hell would hold that against you? Where's the compassion, honor, and perfection in that? There's no such thing as perfection either. That's a joke. That's a way to maintain frustration in your life. Keep trying to be perfect. There's no such thing. So it just goes on and on, okay? I don't need to waste much time with the religions. They're all full of crap. What's real is you relaxing, learning how to awaken your abilities and become even more aware. And then keep awakening more awareness, awakening awareness, awakening awareness. Next thing you know, you're very much awake and aware. And then you are sentient. I mean, completely sentient. All of you is cooking. You're sentient beings anyway, but I'm talking about really using all of what you have. So, when people look at the other side and they see something off to the side a little bit, they're seeing they're looking through the dimensional barrier between the third and second dimension and seeing something over there. The pineal gland is used for that. Okay, the scanner is used pretty much straight ahead, remote viewing and stuff, really far out in space, no problem. It goes about a half to a third dimension up and a half to a third dimension down. Okay, and the pineal is just multidimensional everywhere. And the pineal field comes here. The scanner field comes over here. They even talk. They even touch. And then when I go and people crank them up, I take the two energies and I blend them together. Okay, 99% of all you can feel is when I do it. As I do this, 90 plus percent, whatever, a little less than 99. Anyway, so as I do that and blend the two fields together, there, your scanner gains a little more of that dimensional depth, the multi-dimensional depth of the pineal, and then your pineal gets a little more high definition clarity that comes through from the scanner, and it helps you be a smoother functioning brain. Excuse me. As I go into you and crank you up, I explain the different parts of your brain, what I'm working on, and everything else. The only thing I don't touch much about is the scanner. You won't hear about the scanner anywhere unless you heard it from me. People don't understand it. All the races that are from the other planets, folks, they're not gods. There's no such thing as a god anymore anyway. That's an arrogance thing. If something was so cool for you to call it a god and worship it, why would it want you to do that? Why would it allow you to do that? Wouldn't it just say, hey, stop that? Come on, we're all family, man, stop it. I don't want you to worship me. Let's just do stuff, get along, and work together. Play together. Laugh together. There's a simple truth. What I tell you is important for you as you wake up to see it for yourself, because then you actually have and own your own truth. But as you listen to me, almost all of you are understanding it's just, hey, this guy's just saying what he's saying. And because I am. It's simple. It's as simple as an old man in overalls. Okay? This is all about y'all. It's funny, I was born in Long Island, New York, and I love the word y'all. Anyway, I talk about myself sometimes, okay? That I want you to understand why I know what I know. That's all. So, the other side has got these other fields of essence and energy and stuff floating around, negative source energy. All kinds of things in place to protect stuff. There was a big war. I was very much in the middle of it, and that's why those chapters aren't as long as they might have been. I just want to state some basic facts about it, but those people that are really close to me, Burju and Paul and Deanna, they can tell you a lot. They can tell you about the daily stuff if you really want to hear it. But that's not important. What's important is that it happened. The things that were abusive have been taken out almost every single 99% of everything on the other side that's a problem has been dealt with. And so new lives are coming. The format for creation used to be abuse, and it was set up like that by the original first being male and female. Now the new one that's coming and is trying to settle down to settle into that is compassion, honor, and equality. So anyway, when you get out of a body, when you finish this life and you leave and go home, you're going to see something really cool. You're going to go home and it's going to be a little scary at first is what it is. When I talk to people and they go home, they can see it and they're like, whoa, where is everybody? What's going on? And then they hang around a little bit and they can feel it and it's like, okay. There's still a little turmoil over there, but very soon, sometime this year, that'll calm down. It was the original male and female first being that ran everything in everyone's life as far as all the decisions. They were the only ones that actually ran lives. Now, having said that, I have to add in this little subclause. The original first angels that they made, they were put on you when you're born. Okay, when you put in the body's born and you put into it, they're put on the body to control you. Okay, The primary archangel will go inside your head, inside your crown, top crown, and then just literally run your brain when it was time. Okay, if it's time to save you, they're going to save you. They'll move stuff in and out of time, whatever it needs to where you never get hurt. They can put you into another dimension when a car hits you. Sometimes a car runs someone over, and then the car goes by, and then the person's not even hurt, maybe a little bruised, so they have something to show, and that's it. And the car ran them over. The car's what? That much clearance? No. That was an angel literally taking you away, saving you, because it was time for you not to be hurt. But when it's time for you to break your arm, when it's time for you to die, when it's time for your daughter to burn alive in a house fire, yeah, that's them. They're going to make sure it happens. They were the servants, see, the original first being male and female. So, very cold. When you see an angel in person, when it makes a body and looks at you, they're very cold. Now, there's some new angels that came from Lily and Ara, really cool, had some problems. There's a lot of problems that need to be fixed, and it's not time yet. It'll be before the end of the year, but I don't know when, and no one on either side knows. Certain things have to happen, and I need to drop this body and get back over there. I'm a janitor. I clean up the messes, mop up the floors, fix the broken doorknobs. So the other side is clean. There's stuff going on over there. There's spirit around all the time. There's 5 waves of souls that came out. All this, if you really want to know about the other side, as a matter of fact, about creation itself, the only place you're going to find the truth is in these books. Again, this tells you how it all started. What came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, it's all in there. Who you are, where you came from. A lot of people think that they're star children. They call each other star children. You're not star children. You didn't come from a star. You came from the first being. It's not like, oh gee, you're wrong and you don't know, someone says even worse words than that. It's about you having been given the opportunity to be told what's over there, and then the help to awaken your abilities so you can see it for yourself. So that's this last part of my life, while things are being fixed that need to be fixed and taken care of, and it's all happening, and it's happening quick. Just for me, not quick enough. I'm tired of being here, my last life. But it's important that this happen, and that you all awaken. So that's what I'm spending my time on. And I've been doing this for years. I've been cranking people up since 2010. I've been intentionally going into people's brains, working on them. But I've been cranking people up. My energy's 7-8 years easy. So sometimes I'll walk in a room and my energy's really hot and fired up, and people who are sensitive to energy, they can feel it. My last event was September last year, September 26th to 28th. That's funny. Anyway, sorry, I'm always seeing things. September 1st, I've lung disease, COPD, and some other thing. It's about lower lung infections that never go away, some kind of chronic issue, and other things, degenerative joint disease. But September 1st, I was real sick. Pneumonia had set in again. And by the end of the month, when I did the event, that was rough. That was real rough. I was having a hard time. I mean, I didn't get about 4 hours sleep each night, but and my energy my physical body was in rough shape, but my energy, heck, you can ask Braju. I walked by her and just about knocked her out, and that's not just her. Most of the other people down there, strong people. The sicker I was, the more my energy's coming out of my body. It's like, good, we're close to getting free. I'm usually a little more comical, but I really don't feel good. But anyway, all of you have incredible abilities that almost no one's even tapped into. And those people who are, waking up, barely over 3%, a little over 3% of the population. Now that's a lot of people in number, but as far as percentage, it's nobody. It's next to nobody. Could you imagine if you had parents, and I'm not knocking your parents, I'm talking about the way society's been set up. Could you imagine if your parents were awake, and this has happened for some of you, and actually helped you become aware and use your abilities? Could you imagine if society had that as a very basic understanding, and then waking up using your metaphysical abilities, which is simply part of you, was actually already part of what was going on? That was, by the time you were 10, you'd be very awake and aware. Many of us have started very late. So, anyway, so the other side's changing. It's interesting. It's multidimensional. What people call the veil between the dimensions. The veil is thinning. No, it's not. No, it's not. When it comes to dimensional barriers and dimensions themselves and making them, what's in this body is the expert on that. Sorry, it's the one that's been doing it. The first dimension made itself. The second and third dimension were made by the original first, being male and female, mostly the male. And then everything else after that, Ara made. And the primary focal point of Ara is what's in this body, or a piece of it shoved in there. So I'll try to get a video out about dimensions here. I will probably get one out here soon to explain it again, a new one. My old YouTube channel had over 500 videos on it, 3,400 subscribers. I'm starting a new one just to put some basic stuff out there so you have it, and that's it. Okay, I just want you to have some of the basic information. If you had maybe 20 videos, okay, maybe even 40 or 50, that's too much. But anyway, if you had 20 to 40 videos, 20, 30 videos, that's enough topics to touch on to help you get a better understanding about something, and then find it for yourself. Because that's where the beauty of all this is you becoming yourself. You can only have your own truth once you've experienced it for yourself. Reading a book will not give you your own truth. You can read my books, it's all true 100%. And as you read into it, you're going to say, okay, this kind of makes sense. But it's not really your truth until you open up your mind and then flow over there and start seeing some of the stuff. And then everything you see, that's an individual truth that you have. And the more of those you put together, like reading the book, that's like data. That's knowledge, okay? That's number 8. As you consume it and then experience it for yourself, that's number 2, understanding, okay? Which is compassion too, but whatever. And then once you have enough of those, then you have wisdom. Once you start building up a collection of understandings, you have wisdom. And please try to remember that none of us are any better than anyone else, okay? We're all family. The fact that you exist gives you rights of equality within creation. Now, no one's any better than anyone else, but we can all do things better than each other. That's just normal, okay? It's important that we start understanding the format of equality, the part of the format that's equality. This is some AAA grade carnelian, rough. This helps blood flow. It's very strong for compassion. Wonderful stuff. Stones have energy in it. Stones come from the planet, and so do we. Our bodies. Our bodies, that is, our spirit. We have the energy from the planet plus our own personal energy visiting. Well, that's enough of this one. That's at least some of the basic information about the other side, some stuff going on. The stronger you get, the more aware you become, you'll start seeing this stuff for yourself. And the different beings over there, again, okay, I know I'm going crazy with this book, all the different beings over there, Fae, you know, their basic bodies. The Fae make bodies out of energy, but they have their own basic bodies as energy that they go in, and I've got the basics in there. Okay, but they can actually come together with their energy and make a physical body. Everyone's about to find out about it. For instance, space. Well, first off, we're trying to wake up. Okay, become more aware, use our abilities, like a lot of the old races. Okay, they're already there using abilities. They don't understand everything that's on the other side. They've been kept from seeing that. But now that they're dead, and this, they're the barrier between their brains, going down the middle of the brain, separating the conscious mind left and the spiritual side right. Now that that's going away, they're starting to see more and understand more. I will be doing a video about our friends in space too. A lot of them are very close to me. I'm close to them. Whatever. I'm close with a lot of them. However to say that, I don't get too mixed up in words. I just get information out. So folks, there's a lot coming, but you're going to become more awake and aware, and then you're going to start learning we have friends in this dimension on other planets, and then you're going to find out about the spirit that's in the other dimensions when you start seeing it better, waking up, coming aware, and then you will also see the Fae come up. Some of the Fae, when you're ready, when it's set up to happen for you, you'll see energy getting thicker and thicker, making a little bit of a body, and it makes a physical body, reaches out, shakes your hand with a weird looking body and hand, lets go, and then poof, goes back into energy. Because those are the new bodies that you're going to have. And it's going to cut 72 to 78% of all the abuse in your lives out, and all the abuse and creation out. All right, folks. Love you. Have a good one. Oh, yeah, forgot something. Yeah, gee, that never happens. You can get a hold of me through jayessex.com, or you can go to jayssex.com, and then just jump over to the main website, jayessex.com. It's written. It'll be written down on the description of this video. Also, there's a new one coming, the spiritualfoundation.com, and that's the main one that I always wanted to get going, but I hadn't been able to because of all the other insanity going on here in this dimension, and then plus the other, the second dimension. But it's all going to flow there. It's not to be about one person. This has my name on it because as I say things and do things, I wanted to pull people in so you can look at some of my information, DVDs, understand more about stones. I crank up stones. When I crank people up, you just get the stones that you have hanging around. I get you to hold on to them, just relax, then I go in there and crank them up. You can feel it. Berju and Paul do that too. It's funny. Anyway, good things are coming, folks. But the more awake you are, the stronger you are, the more you're going to enjoy it, the more you're going to get out of it, and the more you are. Time to be the real you. Love you, man. Have a good one.